All right, y'all. Looks like we got another fight coming up. This time on Amazon Prime, another pay per view, and this time it's Canelo versus Munguia. Um, I have some different thoughts about this fight, good and bad. But at the same time, the only good part about it, I'll say, just to get it out of the way, is Canelo fighting another Mexican. I never approved of him saying that he would never fight another Mexican, whether it be from his country, the actual country of Mexico, or outside of Mexico, Mexican Americans like David Benavides, and which is another fight that everybody wanted to see, but it's not happening at the moment. So Canelo instead went for Munguia. For me personally, I thought he was actually going to fight Terrence Crawford, or at least one of the Charlo brothers. Well, I would say Jamal because he already fought Jamal. Um, yeah, I thought he was going to fight an American fighter around this time, but it looks like he's going to fight a Mexican fighter. I'm kind of glad at the same time that he's insisting to fight another Mexican fighter because I really didn't like how that shit sounded, man. When he said that he didn't want to fight no more Mexicans, but yeah, he fought Chavez Jr. And I don't know, man. It's not a good look for him, especially like over there in Mexico, when most of the fighters over there fought each other, back in the day. And I don't want to sound like a boomer or anything like that, since that's the term that most people like using nowadays to address when somebody says, "Oh, well, back in my day, back in my day." Well, I mean that literally, you know. But that's good, man. Keeping up the heritage of the sport of Mexican boxing, by fighting each other. Don't just go for the low hanging fruit. And most people would consider Munguia a low hanging fruit, but I saw some of the same people actually uh, say that Munguia looked like he was a good opponent for Canelo, and that they were kind of calling out Canelo about uh, him not fighting Mexican fighters. Oh, so you won't even fight Benavides, but you won't even fight Munguia either. Well, I mean, looks like it's already happening between him versus Munguia. Personally, for me, I wanted to see Benavides. I still want to see that fight, and I would actually even travel to see that fight between Canelo and Benavides. But uh, right now, like I said before, we're not getting that fight at the moment, and hopefully stuff changes. But at the same time, you never know, man. Especially with Canelo and how the WBC is, with this whole mandatory position and how inconsistent they are. And yeah, either ways, if y'all want to talk about it with me, we could talk about it in the comments or a live stream or something like that. I don't know, but either ways, let's talk about this fight. Uh, Honestly, man, I've never been big on Munguia, and this was before the whole Canelo thing. I always thought Munguia was very uh, defensively challenged, I would say, and he doesn't really have much besides an offense. That's really it. And I will say that his technique has improved over the years, in terms of how he delivers that offense. He's not as wild as he once was when he was at 154 pounds, but the defensive flaws are still there, man. Uh, I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. He's definitely a lot better than Chavez Jr. for sure by miles, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough to beat Canelo, man. And I never even believed that it was enough when he first popped up on the scene when Golovkin was initially gonna fight Canelo on May the 5th back in 2018, and I never saw anything in Munguia that stood out to me from that time. And sure, he's had some fights, but he's also missed out on some big fights that could have actually prepared him, I would say, for Canelo. You know what I mean? And when I say that, I mean fights over there at 160. Like the Charlo, um, maybe even Jared Hurd. Man, I wanted to see him versus Jared Hurd at one point when they were at 154 pounds. That would have been an excellent fight, man. Man, if you wanted to talk about defense being thrown out the window, that would have been one of the best fights that boxing fans probably would have seen in a long time. And either ways, man, I mean, we already have the fight happening. Munguia has climbed up from 154, 160 to 168. I saw his last fight with John Ryder, and I thought he looked pretty good. Sure, he was getting hit here and there, but I thought he looked okay. I thought he looked okay. He kind of surpassed my expectations of stopping John Ryder, and rightfully so, man. Rightfully so. But I don't think it's enough for him to beat Canelo. And uh, yeah, it sounds like I'm giving out a prediction already, but my thoughts could probably change on how competitive this fight is during fight week. Personally for me, man, I always thought that Canelo was the superior fighter to Munguia and always will be. I think he will always just have his number. Uh, but I'll give you guys the outcome when it comes to fight week. Well, when fight week comes around, because I can't really see it, man. I can't really see Munguia being Canelo. No matter how good Munguia is, I think Canelo's always just going to be better, in my opinion. And that's not me bigging up Canelo or anything like that, because I think he is a good fighter. He's proven me wrong on a couple of occasions, but I think Munguia is not the guy, man. Personally, for me, I don't think he's the guy. I sooner believe it's Benavides, and that's a whole different fight to talk about. But either ways, let me know what y'all think in the comment section about this fight, and I'm out. Peace.